We all know that Peppa's siblings are George and Evie, but what if we told you that the little pig has other relatives you've never seen before? Penny Pig. There are a lot of rumors that Peppa has an evil twin sister who goes by several names, one of them being Penny Pig. Yes, you heard that right, there is a piglet identical to Peppa in every way, except she's extremely evil. This theory has existed since the beginning of the series, when fans noticed that an official Peppa Pig poster had something very strange. Anyone looking at the image without paying much attention would think it's just a picture of the pig family standing in front of their house. But those who look closer will notice that a piglet identical to Peppa is standing behind a window, watching the rest of the family as if she were stalking them. That's when many people started believing Peppa might have a twin who was abandoned by the family for being too wicked. If you're wondering where the idea of Penny being evil came from, the evidence is in the series itself. In most episodes, Peppa is a very fun and polite girl, but in certain episodes, she shows a very mean side, acting without thinking about others. When George gets sick, she, instead of being worried, makes fun of the situation and later complains when the little boy coughs during the night, as if he were coughing on purpose. In another episode, Peppa kicks George and Richard out of the treehouse simply because they aren't girls, even though both were behaving well. She didn't care at all when the boy started crying. How can this be the same girl who has shown countless times how much she loves her little brother? The answer is, she isn't. It seems that sometimes Penny takes Peppa's place and pretends to be her sister to experience a normal life, but her evil personality always ends up showing. And keep in mind, she's only one of the 9 hidden children you didn't know existed in the pig family.
That's right, another Cinewave is coming for you to enjoy.
Olivia Pig. Yes, there's a chance Penny Pig isn't the only secret sister Peppa has. After all, pigs can have several babies in just one pregnancy. Seriously, it's normal for a sow to have a little over 10 piglets in a single litter. Even if Mummy Pig didn't have such an extreme number of babies, we can still imagine that she might have had some extra children. Penny would be one of them, being Peppa's twin sister, but we also believe George might have a twin as well. Her name? Olivia Pig. This little pig has never physically appeared in the series, but there's strong evidence of her existence on the pig family's computer. A game that Peppa loves to play on that computer has a scoreboard, each score followed by 3 letters, initials for the player's name, Pep for Peppa, Geo for George, and several others. Even Suzy is played on that computer, since we can see the initials SUZ there, which makes sense since she visits Peppa all the time. Now here's the strange part. At the very bottom of the list, there's an extremely low score next to a mysterious set of initials, OOP. No character in the pig family or close to Peppa has a name that fits those letters. But do you know what name does match OOP? Olivia Pig. So yes, there might be another piglet secretly living inside the pig family's house. We don't know if Olivia is evil like Penny, or if she just likes gaming late at night while everyone else is asleep, but there's a good chance she lives hidden in the attic, a place that is almost never visited and that the family didn't even consider checking in the episode when the house's power went out, even though the outage originated from up there.
Aunt Dottie. Aunt Dottie is a different case. As Grandma Pig's daughter, she actually has appeared in the series, so her existence is 100% confirmed, but she's extremely mysterious. This aunt of Peppa's was mentioned very vaguely in a 2011 episode when she gifted the kids a toy horse. The only thing we knew about her at the time was that she was an aunt who lived in another country. We didn't even know whether she was Mummy Pig's sister or Daddy Pig's. That was until 2024, more than 10 years later, when Dottie finally appeared, and we discovered that she is Mummy Pig's sister, not Daddy Pig's, as most people believed. With Dottie's appearance, we learned she's a very nice person and seems to get along with her family, but it's extremely odd that it took her so long to appear, and this delay exists both in real life and in the show's timeline, since Dottie says in that episode that it's the first time she's seeing George. That means she must have gone about 3 or 4 years without visiting her family. This is quite strange, especially because the pig family doesn't have financial problems. Peppa and her relatives have traveled to several countries with no issues, so Dottie shouldn't have any difficulty paying for a trip abroad. Is she really that busy? Maybe Dottie's job demands a lot from her, or maybe she doesn't like her family as much as it seems and postponed the visit for as long as she could. Do you want to learn more about Dottie just like we do? If so, comment below, #Dottie. Dottie's daughter. We know so little about Dottie that we're not even sure what her personal life is like, but all this mystery raises the possibility that she might have a daughter. That would be a completely reasonable explanation for why she doesn't visit her family in England very often, especially if she became a mother sometime after her last visit about 4 years ago. This would mean that Dottie has a daughter who is younger than Peppa but older than George, a child far too young to be left alone. The easiest solution would be to bring the girl along on her trips, but the fact that Dottie didn't bring her during her visit to England could mean that her daughter has some kind of illness that prevents her from taking long trips and requires Dottie to stay close to her as much as possible to take care of her. Mummy Pig's brother. It took us several years to finally meet Mummy Pig's sister, but as unbelievable as it may seem, the show hints that she might also have a brother who has never appeared. This character has never been mentioned in dialogue, but fans began theorizing about his existence the moment a photo of 2 children was seen in Grandpa Pig's office. One of the children was a girl who looked similar to Peppa, while the other was a boy who looked like George. Except these children aren't Peppa and George, since the image is in black and white, indicating that it is much older, not to mention that both are wearing different clothes. We have plenty of reasons to believe that the girl in the photo is actually Mummy Pig, while the boy is her hidden brother. Some people think the boy might actually be Daddy Pig, since that same photo can also be found in his office. However, we've already seen his younger version in the show, and he looks nothing like George, so he probably has that photo simply because it's a picture of his wife from her childhood. If that's the case, why has Mummy Pig's brother never appeared? Did he also move to another country like Dottie? Or is the reason something more tragic? Who knows? Maybe he has already passed away, which would be sad because George clearly inherited his features, and it would be amazing to see the two of them meet. Miss Rabbit's sisters. It's not just the pig family that has hidden children, the rabbit family does too, and this case is even more absurd because we see them in almost every episode of the show. Have you ever wondered how Miss Rabbit manages to have so many jobs, even though it's impossible for a single person to perform so many tasks at the same time? Well, here's the thing. Maybe she isn't just one person. What we know as Miss Rabbit might actually be hundreds of rabbit sisters pretending to be the same person. So the firefighter Miss Rabbit isn't the same person as the Miss Rabbit who performs helicopter rescues. Since rabbits are known for having many babies, this actually makes perfect sense. Not only that, but there are international versions of Miss Rabbit in other countries within Peppa's world. So it becomes harder and harder to believe they're all the same individual. Subscribing is quick, easy, and keeps you updated with everything happening here. Let's go? Carol Cow. When talking about lost or forgotten children, Carol Cow is one who definitely can't be left out, especially because the show already leaves her out enough as it is. This little cow appeared as a background character in a few moments of the show, sometimes standing next to Mrs. Cow. That has led many people to conclude that Carol is her daughter. However, Carol never became an important character, not even getting a single line of dialogue. She also didn't appear at Mrs. Cow's wedding to Mr. Bull, which left everyone confused about what exactly her connection to Mrs. Cow is supposed to be. Suzy's brother. Suzy Sheep is Peppa's best friend, which is why she gets a lot of attention in several episodes. Even so, we still have many questions about her family, especially since we've never seen her father. Another question is, does Suzy have a sibling? Because it would actually make a lot of sense if she did. If we look at the biology of sheep, we'll see that these animals have a high chance of giving birth to twins during a pregnancy. It's not as common as it is with pigs, but it's still pretty normal for a sheep to have 2 lambs when she gets pregnant. So yes, there are real chances that Suzy has a little brother, and that fits perfectly with the theory that Suzy's parents are divorced, because it could mean that each parent ended up with 1 child. While Mummy Sheep kept custody of Suzy, Daddy Sheep could have gotten custody of her twin brother and taken him with him to another city. Chloe's sister. The episodes in which Peppa interacts with her cousin Chloe are always really fun. Seeing Peppa playing with an older child is something we don't get very often, but it's possible that Peppa has another cousin besides Chloe and Dottie's supposed daughter. Remember that Chloe has a brother, right? He's baby Alexander, who is younger than George. But something about this is a bit strange. Chloe is older than Peppa. She's 10 years old, and there is a big gap between her birth and Alexander's birth, enough time for another child to have been born, a middle daughter. Obviously, it's not impossible for Uncle Pig and Aunt Pig to have gone all those years without having another baby.
Dottie. But in Peppa Pig, siblings always have very close ages. Peppa and George Pig, Rebecca and Richard Rabbit, Emily and Edmund Elephant. All of them have an age difference of about 2 years, but Chloe and Alexander are completely different. Or maybe not so different after all, if the two of them really do have a middle sister who has simply never appeared for some reason, but who might show up in the future.
Before you go, take a look at the 2 videos on the screen. Thanks for watching, and see you next time!